Okay, good afternoon, second grade. This is the last thing in science. Okay, and it shouldn't take us very long to do the science together. So, in your folder, you should have a science paper that looks like this. Okay? And it's really not going to take us that long. So, let's just go on and get started with it. This is all about friction, gravity, and magnets. Friction makes things move. It's when things move. Okay? Gravity holds things up and in place. If we didn't have gravity, the earth would be spinning all over the place. Okay? If we didn't have gravity, things would just be floating everywhere, like with astronauts. Gravity holds things down to the ground for us, okay? And then magnets. Magnets are used on metal pieces to pick pieces up. They attach to metal, to certain types of metal. Not aluminum, but to metal. Okay? So what they're asking us to do, it says we're going to read each sentence. If the sentence talks about or tells about friction, we're going to put an F. Okay? And I'm going to circle that or underline that F. F for friction. A. If the sentence talks about gravity, we're going to put a G. If it talks about magnets, we're going to put an M on the line. Okay? That's all we're doing is either an F, a G, or an M. We're not writing words out, so we're going to work this out together. Number 1, you use this to hold notes on the refrigerator. Well, if you take a note home from school and I tell you, Mommy can hang it on the refrigerator, what is she going to use? Is she going to use force or friction, gravity, or a magnet? What do you think? I think it's a magnet. So let's put an M. That's an easy one. A magnet. Mrs. Patterson has magnets on our board over there to hold things up. Okay, number 2. You use your brakes to stop your bicycle. When you press on the brakes to stop your bicycle, are you using friction, which is a force, or are you using gravity, things that stay on the ground, or is it a magnet? It is a force. You're pressing against something to make it stop. You're using force or friction. Okay? So let's put an F on number 2. The number 3. The moon orbits the earth. Okay, here we go. We're talking about outer space. We're talking about things that the astronauts would have. If we didn't have that gravity, the moon would fall into the earth or go out in outer space someplace else that we wouldn't even have a moon. So when the moon orbits the earth, it stays in gravity. So that's a G, gravity. Okay? Number 4, you use this to get a paperclip you dropped. Paperclip's metal. What would you pick it up with? And I'm not going to tell you this one. I did 3 of them with you. What would you pick it up with? Would you pick it up with friction, gravity, or a magnet? Put one of those letters there, please. M, F, or G. Okay, number 5. You feel this if you rub your hands together quickly. If you rub them together, they get feeling warm. Okay, is that a magnet? Is that gravity that's keeping something in place, or is it friction? Put one of those letters there. F, G, or M. Number 6. A computer has this inside of it. A computer has this inside of it. Well, let's think about that one. Friction is something that you put force onto or you rub it together. Is that inside our computer? Okay. Gravity keeps things down on Earth or keeps things in a certain position, place. Is that inside the computer? Or do you think there might be a magnet in that computer? What do you think? Which one makes sense? Which one makes sense? You try to figure it out. Okay, number 7. This is how you stay in your chair. Well, we talked about that. What makes me stay in the chair so I don't float around? Is that friction? Is that gravity? Or is that a magnet? Think about it. Which is it? Friction is a force. Gravity keeps things from floating around in space, and a magnet picks up metal. Well, I don't think I have a magnet on me, but what do you think? Put one of those letters, G, F, or M. And number 8, you feel this going down a playground slide. When you go down the slide, what do you feel? You're on that slide and you've got to kind of go down that slide. Is that gravity that keeps you from floating around? Is that a magnet? Or is that friction? Remember, friction is a force or a movement. Okay? Gravity keeps you to the ground. A magnet picks up metal. Which would that be? Please put either a G, an F, or an M. And that is our science for the day. So, hopefully you learned something, and I will see you guys on Monday. Have a good weekend.